Hi there. Sorry about the slightly jerky nature of iPad recordings and things. Welcome to February the 18th. Now, I've had a bit of a gap. You may have noticed from the Dear Anybody daily letters that I've been reading on behalf of my late father, Jimmy. I'm his son, Kevin, and as you may recall if you're following, I'm reading letters that he'd written sort of to himself every day of the year in 1999. And we'd got to about the 11th, I think, and then I had a slightly planned a trip into hospital. So I've had some surgery at the absolutely outstanding Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital in Middlesex, near to Elstree, and can't commend them enough to anyone who has to go there, and I hope you don't. But all sorts of problems. I had actually had a lump, or another lump, reoccurrence of a lump that was taken away 4 years ago, and that was all handled very well, and I came out just a day or so ago. But having taken the iPad in and thought I would do carry on, I forgot the actual dad's original manuscript. So what I've done, if that's okay, is I'll be just paraphrasing from the 11th to the present day, if it were, and just trying to give a flavour of what things were covered in those days. There was about five or six different things. First of all, Dad, on one day, apparently ITV revealed that they actually used relations on TV programs. So there was quite a bit of, I suppose you'd call it hoaxing, false news, maybe false evidence, whatever it is, making serious peer a bit more spicy by using family members to take certain parts. So, a little bit to do with fake news of today, I guess. The Germans apparently were then going to be making some of our weapons, and apparently Jimmy had a fairly interesting view of that, and what the potential was if we ever had conflict again, and could we have our missiles back type of thing. But there was apparently a German defence contract being issued. Living a long time became a bit of an issue. On one day, some lady he interviewed, I think Dad said he interviewed someone who was 100 and said, I'll see you next year. And said, I hope not, and probably proved the point that perhaps when you get to 100, you've seen it, done it, been there, and perhaps you're, actually not too worried about, tomorrow. You've been around a long time. You might recall in one of the episodes, apparently a camel was found in the back of a van, and apparently that then turned out to be belonging to Mary Chipperfield of the Chipperfield Circus variety, and apparently she wasn't culpable. It was someone who'd stolen it, I think. But there was a little bit of a, final what happened to that. Another initiative that came up during those days, Dad's Army. Now you might, if you're, lived in England and remember the 70s, 80s sitcom Dad's Army, about land defence volunteers, or Home Guard as they were then renamed. This was a sort of an idea that might be that rather than PCSOs, we would have an army of old people, perhaps a bit like me, with a uniform and a mandate, and we would go around and be able to sort of give the benefit of our, sorry about the lighting there, the benefit of our experience to younger folks. So that was another initiative. Lastly, health, as it always seems to be, was a big issue, and I suppose it was like, what was the issue? Actual issue was a gentleman was sadly passed away and wasn't discovered for 12 hours later by his family. So that was a bit sad. And currently we're having big efforts to get waiting lists down, and I can personally testify that my care was excellent with the NHS. I know that's not everybody's experience, but I have to say in my personal case, it can't be beaten. And this guy was left for 12 hours. So, and now we're having sort of people left in corridors and things. So clearly a bit of an issue, really. And lastly, I think it was Army. It's funny, isn't it? The Army today on the news is all about more defence spending in 2025 and how we don't spend enough. But back then, there were recruits apparently who were actually moaning about their lot a little bit, and sort of the fact that recruits were not lasting the course. And of course, Jimmy then recalled his own Royal Marine training at Deal, I think, and other places where doing a sort of 10-mile hike in 90 minutes, with a full pack on was the sort of the norm. And yes, you're going to be shouted at for 26 weeks by a sergeant major who, didn't know any other way of operating. But it formed the fighting unit known as the Royal Marine Commandos, of which he was very famous, very very proud of. Anyway, so what I'm going to try and do then is as from tomorrow the 19th, we'll get back to a daily sort of posting. It will be on the iPad for reasons I won't bore you with, but I've changed locations. I'm a bit immobile, so I've had to move a few things around and not work from the office, so it's a bit raw footage, but I hope you'll bear with. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry if I've you missed me. Of course you have, I know, but if you haven't, I quite understand. But thanks to the good old NHS again, I'm sort of hopefully fighting fit. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. So wherever you are, morning, afternoon, or evening, these were the sort of thoughts and letters back in 1999, which was current, and how the news cycle seems to recur over and over again. Anyway, speak soon. You know my day. Bye.